Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Paladins Summer Open Qualifiers. My name is Rain Day, and this is Hi-Rez Pretty Hair, or Evan and Nick, however you'd like to call us. It's time to get into the finals for this weekend, and it's going to be none other than the Gargantuans, the Juggernauts, D69 versus 50 Shades of SNEK.
So long. I mean, since we've been seeing these two in the finals particularly, it's such a big story when one of them aren't this far in an open bracket, in a round robin, in a LAN at any point. They have been the final two in almost every major Paladins event thus far. They've been playing together the longest. I mean, even SunCommander, before Spunky, before Lemonade, he was the one that was actually there. So this is the OG, essentially, roster that these five have kind of come together with and found a lot of success on.
Yeah, you know, and when you talk about OG, you talk about sometimes just an ease, like a relaxation. You know, when you're around your old friends and you don't really have to pretend to be anything else. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, I feel comfortable. And that allows people to play sometimes at their best, ways they haven't been performing if they're pressured to have a spot, which SunCommander was pressured until Lemonade left the scene. And now they know he's their go-to guy, and he's playing lights out.
Yep, still got to get him to these lands. You saw the map graphic on your screen, guys. Time to get into the champion draft. Game number 1 between 50 Shades of SNEK and District 69. First pick, it's going to be D69. They are the higher seed, I guess, technically.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Can he do it? He's been practicing.
Makoa!
You did it!
Oh, man!
Good job, Evan.
That's right, man. You know, I like to come to parties every now and then. I'm really cheap, guys. I'm available on Thursday evenings. So if you have any birthday parties you want to invite me to, I do tricks like that all the time.
That's a hell of a party trick.
That's a hell of a party trick, man. I'll guess the other one, too. You ready? Actually, I'm not ready for this one. Barrack? Oh, Ruckus. Damn, I should have thought of that. What was I thinking?
That's why you just do the children's parties.
That's why I only do first pick, though.
I come to your party.
I charge extra for a second and third. You don't want to see the cost for the whole draft. It's out of your price range.
Barrack is selected for D69 as well as Androxus here. So SNEK already going with the Bomb King as their blast drops. Probably going to stay away from the Drogos this time around. Makes things kind of rough, as that means D69 might go for it, but already with the Barrack, typically bugzy is the Barrack player for District 69. So he can't play both. It'll be interesting to see if D69, if it's still continue to be left open here, which it is now, as SNEK take the Fernando and the Maldaba, where are they going to go with this one?
To me, it seems like they're trying to maybe bait out a tankier lineup from SNEK to compete and maybe use some other tools. You know, like you said, these are players. They're individuals. Shipa can play Barrack.
Drogos would be a good pick right here.
But Drogos is a better pick. Despite, like, the draft, it's like Shipa can play Barrack, and I think that's the benefit of having a guy like Shipa on your team. He can play almost anything and do well. Ruckus, Barrack, Shaolin.
That's a good point. A lot of flexibility across this roster. SNEK, go with the Shaolin. So not the hit scan answer to the Drogos, but at this level of play, Shaolin, Cassie can be a good look for shooting Drogos out of the sky when the aim is just that crispy.
Well, you know what? Crispy aim. Let's see if it's a crispy game. Time to get into it. Frog Isle, D69 versus 50 Shades of SNEK on the left side. D69, the winners lately, the winners last week, the winners of the last big LAN here, facing off with a combustible fire spit, legendary for bugzy's Drogos, Architectonics for Shipa's Barrack, Resonance for gerrah's Ying, Dark Stalker for PERDO's Androxus, and Half Shell for eLvenpath's Makoa.
Interesting there. The Resonance choice for taking that, but it's going to be Rapid Gourd for Birds, Maldaba, Aegis for Thiel's Fernando, Flux Generator for Bonkar's Ruckus, Desert Shadow for SunCommander, Shaolin, and Laizy with the Accelerant on his Bomb King. Not a lot of item coming through yet for 50 Shades of SNEK. Seeing a Wreck or seeing a Caught, seeing a Chronos, triple Cauterize for District 69 red all across the board.
And some changes as well to the legendaries. It did seem like right at the very end there. So we will see a focusing lens Ying, and she's going to be able to do the damage from the beginning. And right now, the beginning, going all D69 on the point, 18% counting. Bird in the back line, trying to heal everybody up, and gerrah doing the same thing. It's healer versus healer, support versus support. Who will come out on top right now? bonkar running away from focusing lens Ying. That girl can put out some DPS.
It's absolutely, it is no joke. Over a significant amount of time, Ying will put the hurt and actually finds the first blood there. Gerrah takes down the Fernando on his focusing lens Ying, 54% for D69 and climbing slowly, winning this fight.
Color me enthusiasm. This is all support versus support, and I love the way that all of these members here are going forward in a patient way. It's allowing these healers to not have too much pressure on them, and so they're all giving up the fact that, hey, you're going to have your sustain, you're going to have your damage. We're just going to hope to poke you out a little bit more than you can before we make our move.
2 big kills from SunCommander actually swings this back in favor of 50 Shades of SNEK. Shipa finds the kill onto Thiel, though Laizy needs to find Shipa here, and he does. Overtime started for D69, but they're just outnumbered right now. Gerrah forced the dimensional link out, leaving eLvenpath out to dry. He will be taken, stunned out. Another big kill for SunCommander, the newest member to the roster, playing very well today.
That was huge. I mean, PERDO, as well as he's been playing, SunCommander has come in on another level, and he has absolutely been lights out as stalling this type of aggression. That's what you're going to need to see. And gerrah gets done. He doesn't use the planet. That's a smart heads-up play. Didn't need it. Just wanted to force him out of the fight.
Now, well, overtime again. A lot of shields coming out from D69. King Bomb's being wound up, rolling through this overtime, looking for it. bugzy has nowhere to go. He's going to be stunned out. 2 bombs won't quite do it. Drogo's plenty of HP left in the tank, and Laizy unable to confirm the kill onto the captain.
Although he can't confirm the kill, he does enough to get bugzy out of the fight. That is how you use a King Bomb. That is how you use an ultimate, and that is why I was so disappointed on Brightmarsh when 50 Shades of SNEK were playing against WASD and they elected not to use the ultimate there. It could be so impactful just to get one person out of a fight.
I mean, it's Laizy. We're just happy he landed.
We're just happy he didn't hit his head on.
We're just happy that it did land onto somebody. But yeah, that's one of the benefits of Drogo's. He is so tanky, 2,400 HP. It's kind of that, you know, they take the leap start where you need 2 bombs to kill someone or 3 bombs. In that case, it just wasn't enough damage there. And plus, King Bomb has pretty aggressive fall off. And you know, the further away you are from your target, the less damage you're going to hit him for. You got to be aware, quickly able to adjust how many bombs you stick onto the target before going for the detonation. 2 minutes remain though. SunCommander on this shot land has come up huge for 50 Shades of SNEK. Found 2 frags while Laizy was off, trying to kill bugzy, trying to bring him down. So
several metrics to adjust here as well. I mean, how well they're pushing forward, how well they're defending, all depending on sometimes the aggressiveness, their stance, the positions that they take. And this bugzy guy, I mean, I don't know where he learned to play Drogo's, but he seems to have had a leg up on anyone who's ever tried this champion. He just hits the shots that you don't think should be hit.
Laizy actually using a lot of that momentum from the knockup to continue to see himself out of that fight. Cursed Arms available, Dome Shield, Dragon Punch, all online. 3 ultimates to 2 here for D69. If they need it on the defense, unable to find that kill from Laizy. A lot of headshots go into him as well. PERDO escapes narrowly into the backline with his life. This needs to be communicated. He does have a good angle on the rest of 50 Shades of SNEK if they don't tell him that he's there.
And that's an incredible actual reaction from SunCommander to finish off 2 in a row here. He takes down gerrah. He's able to take down bugzy. He's able to take down so many members of this team and stay alive. That's the key. They don't have to go without damage. And that is the power of this team right now. SunCommander's playing lights out, and 50 Shades of SNEK are loving it.
There comes the Dread Serpent as well. Up onto the high ground. Will split up 2 of the tanks, but not a lot of follow-up, not a lot of positioning here. Just want to get this one pushed up and started again. bonkar with 2 kills already. Gerrah and eLvenpath do go down. There's a Dome Shield coming out from Barrack. D69 trying to stabilize here. King Bomb rolling through. Immortal comes out to keep everyone alive. Beautifully executed team fight from 50 Shades of SNEK.
Now that's a beautiful Immortal, because sometimes you don't need it for the defense, you need it for the offense. Your offense can be your best defense, and that is why he keeps the King Bomb alive. He keeps the Bomb King there, able to stay in that fight and get his bombs off after the stun, and that leads to this continued momentum. 50 Shades of SNEK love the 2-0, the 4-0 on this map. Can they do it here? D69 trying to put up a push, but eLvenpath's gonna fall.
A lot of damage coming through from this Ruckus, charging his ultimate up past the halfway point. 2 kills coming through. PERDO finds a good angle into this backline. Overtime has been started, but frags starting to fall for D69. 3 already gone that way. PERDO falls. Nowhere near enough the payload though. Laizy cannot continue to contest. Bird is taken down at the last second, so all tied up 1-1 here. Items starting to come through. A lot of credits on both teams. SunCommander, so many frags. Record 3 after the first round.
And this is what I don't. This is where we see the situation, Nick, with the ultimates. You know, they're already ahead in the credits, but they do have to say that their ultimate charges are low in comparison to D69. That is the danger of using some of those ultimates, especially when they don't have a big game changer right now, but bugzy has a huge game changer with the Dragon Punch.
Sure, and once again, resilience, a key part of District 69's strategy here, in beating this SNEK draft. You're looking at the King Bomb stun and the fear from the Dread Serpent. Those are two key big drivers of these team fights. Once those start to fall off late game, it's going to be tough to win at these fights, as well as the Impale stun being so clutch for SunCommander to find a lot of these swing frags.
Well, you know what's so good about this combustible legendary bugzy, the way he's using it, is he's not going into the fight looking for a combustible right away. He waits till they get set up. Those are types of champions that love to get set up, the Ruckus, the Fernando, and he's using his advantage to take that down. But look at that, hits a rocket into the wall, and he misses the fire spin.
Bonkar goes down, or actually claims the life of Shipa, excuse me, 27% on the point. More big fire spits coming through, landing onto 3, a lot of damage coming through. Impale arrow actually knocking bugzy off his rhythm and then up out of the sky. SunCommander continuing to be a key factor in these fights, playing on the other angle, the opposite angle from the rest of his team. Had a beautiful flank, even with a character like as low mobility as Shaolin.
We saw that happen. Shaolin, those arrows, they fly so fast. Can't
actually
actually get the dome shield up. Shipa and eLvenpath fall yet again. 50 Shades of SNEK are on the precipice of capturing yet another objective here. Thiel pressuring out with Bonkar on the backside. This DPS and this front line aggressiveness will not be tamed, and it will grant 50 Shades of SNEK yet another lead in this game on Frog Isle.
That's pretty out of character. That was pretty out of character for D69 to just trickle in like that. Losing both tanks off the bat like that, and then PERDO shortly thereafter. Just like, that's a weird con. We don't normally see them do that. They're a team that's, you know, they're not afraid to call a reset, you know, it's over, that type of stuff. They are, you know, pretty level-headed guys, but a big trickle comes out, and that allows 50 Shades of SNEK to keep up this momentum into the payload push, because D69 don't call it off, don't go for that full reset.
These teams, they have a mind. This is a battle of its own. This is not like any other fight they're going to face today, and that's the way it's always been. Both of these teams have their own meta against each other and their own style of play, and sometimes it means that they rush it. One team plays pretty bad the first game, and then they're able to adjust. That's what makes this series so great. Both these teams able to always find an answer at the end of the play, but will it be an answer right here today? It doesn't seem like 50 Shades of SNEK are able to get anything off of their momentum.
Trying to kind of get that reload off as well. Laizy now surging forward into the backline in a pretty rough spot here, but as the frags continue to flow for 50 Shades of SNEK, 3 in that total for that fight. SunCommander is a monster in this game.
And he's been a monster all set, Nick. You know, right now, you mentioned Wrecker 3 already. Now he's got Haven 2. PERDO doesn't even have any defensive items. He's got to work through not only is SunCommander playing great, but 14% more damage that he's got to deal to do the same equivalent he was before.
We could pull up the slash lines. I'd be interested to see how many actually just killing blows SunCommander has found. Does have the Heat Haze available as well. Bonkar has enough credits to go into that Rejuvenate 2. Has the Hexafire online. This time around, a lot more ultimates online for 50 Shades of SNEK. I think a Wise Immortal, only to save himself, Thiel, but the difference there is 50 Shades of SNEK realize Thiel needs help, and they have what it takes to kind of keep that ball rolling here. 3-1. Momentum is high on the side of 50 Shades of SNEK, and they would love to take this first map off of D69.
He just wants one shot, but he's actually just going to destroy the barrack shield. Only 3 shots fully charged, with SunCommander hitting for 3,250 as a result of that Wrecker 3. That shield will go down instantly. Bugzy already in the back foot. Gets a great fading away fire spit, though. But look at this aggressiveness by eLvenpath. He wants a pick, and so far, D69 have totally dominated this capture objective.
67% climbing now north of 70, almost to the 80 mark, as they have the comeback mechanic on their side. Big Hexafire feeds PERDO's reversal. Laizy with 2 frags here. Heat Haze to just continuously be stealth. SunCommander is free firing into this team fight. Nobody has any idea where he is.
He's got to make it happen right now. Impale not available. He's going to have to do it with normal arrow. Shipa, he's going to survive for just a little bit longer, but again, 3 shots and a little bit of help. He's going to make sure he changes the tide of this totally dominant performance on this point objective for 50 Shades of SNEK. And now D69 could be losing here.
It's so tough, though. With that comeback mechanic, already 93% captured for District 69 because they are 2 points down. SNEK leading 3-1 here, trying to close out game number 1, closing the distance here, but a dome shield's going to make it so difficult. Overtime already started. A cursed arm up in the back line, takes down Laizy. More damage onto the point. Thiel falls. Big reversal here. Doesn't cleanly connect with bonkar, but D69, 3 frags for nothing. Able to come away with the payload.
This man trying to Mudustina out here. PERDO coming in with the flick shots. I love the attempts. Doesn't matter, though, because his team had pretty much already won the point fight. So now 2-3, and that just changes everything, Nick. You know, we see both these teams, when they get in the 3-1 position, they're pretty much always going to win that next point fight, unless they're against each other. That's what makes this set so dynamic, so engaging to watch.
2 minutes remain here. Ancient Rage ready to go. Trying to support PERDO here is getting very aggressive. Very poked out. eLvenpath now under half HP as well, but a lot of these rocks can provide cover. Thiel actually could go off the map here if he's not careful, but he's just going to continue that aggression. Takes the life of eLvenpath on his way out, isn't able to escape fully. Laizy could actually get aggressive, go into the back line here. He's starting to see some of these targets poked lower and lower. He will hit the gas pedal, head to the back line, look for that frag onto PERDO, but it's actually bonkar who finds the triple kill. Long distance bombs here. Laizy trying to keep up this aggression, but he doesn't see eLvenpath here. Dredge anchored out into some trouble. Laizy, the king, will fall.
That's a bad play. That is it's a bad play by Laizy. You know, he went a little aggressive, didn't realize and didn't just assume that he had support. You sometimes have to assume the worst when you go behind a corner like that, and he didn't. And now this gives some serious momentum to D69. They push the payload card another 15% here, and they are ready to roll with bugzy's Dragon Punch. One more kill, and they could really turn this into a tie game.
Laizy just coming now out of spawn as well. Salvo is coming through, put a lot of damage into bonkar, but a lot of that mitigated by that repulsor field as well. 50 seconds remain here. Nobody really too gung-ho on the ultimates this time around. Stunned into the wall, but the resilience will keep eLvenpath safe. Fire spit off the map. The knockback is good. Laizy takes a spill into the ocean.
And this is big.
Be another one.
See, he's going to stay alive somehow. Thiel's not going to be able to get him. The most important thing, though, is SunCommander doesn't have the angle onto bugzy anymore. And now the free fire spits, the free damage is there. And look at this. It is a successful push. D69 have tied it up against 50 Shades of SNEK. And it was just after one big mistake there, I think, by Laizy.
Huge damage coming off the back. Yeah, just giving them that momentum back. Such a dangerous thing to try and do, but pretty much neck and neck here in the damage charts, only separated by 2 damage. Laizy on his Bomb King and bugzy on his Drogos. 91,842 and 40 respectively for those two guys. 89,000, pretty close in contention there.
Yeah,
is SunCommander.
Pretty impactful numbers there. I mean, top damage Bomb King doesn't always happen, even though he's so game changing. That's a lot of confirmed shots that he's landing with those bombs, and this is one of the benefits here of Laizy having played Bomb King for so many games, so many tournaments in a row. It all comes down to this bugzy up in the air with a thrust, looking for a salvo, and this time it's going to hit some of the trees, but it will land a little bit on the Laizy, put him under fire, and the combustible does miss.
Threading the needle, winding up the Dragon Punch off to the races now, looking for Thiel. Will he have the Immortal available? He will. Bugzy will be punished, going to go down, trading his life for nothing at this point. Gets the Immortal out, but how much will that matter? 2 frags coming through at the same time as well. eLvenpath and gerrah fall. Shipa just trying to stay alive. All the shielding from Barracks Kit has come out onto the battlefield, buying some amount of time. Shipa takes Thiel home with him, but he will die in the process.
And that did buy some time, and this is going to be important. Can Laizy get picked off, or will he pick someone else off? 45% and counting for both teams at this point, and a King Bomb is here as well. I imagine he's going to want to use it in just a moment, but he may be a little bit less aggressive knowing how that panned off before.
Still 3 ultimates left in the tank here for 50 Shades of SNEK. 1 Ancient Rage is all that D69 have to work with. eLvenpath falling low. He's going to be forced into a less than ideal position just to stay alive. He shell spins in at the last possible second. King Bomb just keeping him locked down, but so much health to work through.
That's amazing. The shell spin took a little bit of time off of Laizy's direction when he couldn't see him around the corner, and that gave D69 a little bit more time to pull it back. Shipa's on the point now. They've still got 1 tank alive, but that may not be enough with SunCommander and Laizy both free firing. It is going to look like 50 Shades of SNEK take the first day and the first set, the first game here against D69 on Frog Isle.
Victorian, little Dread Serpent there at the end. Just little style points for Mr. Bird. Looking confident on the payload. Didn't even need that last ultimate. Wouldn't have brought a whole lot of value as the resiliences were starting to come online there from District 69, but making it work even into the late game on Frog Isle. When's the last time we saw a 18-minute game on Frog Isle? Big damage numbers, 3 members breaking the 100K barrier, almost a 4th there on bonkar.
You know, 2 big moments for me. 50 Shades of SNEK kind of won this game already. I think the defense would have been pretty strong. Laizy gave up himself very, very easily, went into D69's aggressiveness, and that resulted in the 3-3 in my eyes. The other big moment, bugzy uses the Dragon Punch onto the Fernando, unaware of the Immortal, and dies. So not only does your Drogos get out of the fight, no combustibles, which is huge, but he just doesn't get value for that ultimate.
Nope, nothing. Exactly the counter that 50 Shades of SNEK needed. And that may be, you know, Fernando coming back into the meta. This is kind of the beautiful checks and balances here. Fernando coming back in, takes Drogos down ever so slightly, has that ultimate, such a good counter out to the Dragon Punch. And teams at this level of play basically can almost frag the Drogos every single time. If you have to put yourself out of position to land that Dragon Punch, you're most always going to be trading your life for it.
Absolutely. So Brightmarsh, very exciting stuff here. Going to be the next map that we'll play on, and I don't think I've seen both these teams play on it.
I've never seen D69 play on this map.
Okay, so this is something new for all of us, probably all of you watching. These 2 teams seem to have been familiar with it. 50 Shades of SNEK actually played on that map last set and the week before, maybe seeming like they want to learn this map. They want to try this. They want to know the secret ways and
it would be
kind of
good
get successful on this.
Stonekeep, the next newest map, very weak for this roster. They are not good at this map. They ban it out all the time. They don't like it. They won't probably want to change that. I mean, new maps are going to be coming in. You got to stay fresh. You got to stay current. You got to know everything.
Yep, and they're sending us design ideas on how to change Stonekeep every day, guys. They just do not want to. I'm kidding. They're not doing that, but they don't really pick it at all. And, you know, Kanga Esports that we love to talk about from Australia, Josh Kent and the boys over there, they just do a great job of picking on the maps nobody wants to play on. I'm glad they're going about it saying this won't be an Achilles heel of ours.
Bomb King Ruckus selection for D69. So I wanted to switch things up after seeing the performance Laizy had on it, as well as just the general impact of this character. He got nerfed, but he's still in a great spot, even competitively here. Not going to be the Barrack, actually. Going to be the Barrack this time around.
All right, so 2 tanks coming out. D69 seem to really love the tank pressure here, and that's an early selection of that, meaning that, you know, they may have felt that SNEK wanted a double tank in their lineup, especially the way that bonkar had been playing that Ruckus, how effective he's been. They really wanted something to go up against that, knowing they were giving away the Makoa.
Drox here, I like it because it dissuades the Drogos ever so slightly. SunCommander's very good at playing it, as well as Bomb King. Laizy's probably a better Bomb King than he is a Drogos, I would wager. But the Shaolin, SunCommander was so good on that. Shaolin is much better against double frontliner than Androxus is.
That's absolutely true. Shaolin, he just does so much damage.
And they just put PERDO on Lex.
Well, I mean, you know, this is a, you know, Lex can do a lot of work in these corridors. Mudasfina had some moments against SunCommander when they were Lex v Androxus. But will this end up working to their favor? I mean, we don't know what they're planning here.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Lex versus Andro in a 1v1, I think when both characters are hitting all their shots, would probably go to Lex more often than not. And especially on a map like Brightmarsh, where there's not a lot of high ground to be contended for. It's very boots on the ground. It's like Lex is kind of the superior pistol guy here.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about the close corridors fighting. That's what Lex loves. He's got the reveal. He's got the vision on you. He can get the first shot. He can hit real hard up close.
Smork him.
And Smork coming back out. This is Shipa's favorite.
Been a long time.
He has loved this Maelstrom Grok, but will he be playing Maelstrom here?
Let's grow. I mean, I hope
Haven't seen it in a while.
Have to see. It's going to be focusing lens, though, for Birdie Boy. Firefight for the time being for bonkar. Pluck for Thiel's Makoa. Darkstalker for SunCommanders. And Roxas and Accelerant for Laizy's Bomb.
And there you see gerrah going to be playing Ripened Gore to Maldamba. PERDO, Death Hastens, Lex. Aerial Assault, Ruckus for eLvenpath. Bugzy on Architectonics, Barrack. And Maelstrom Grok for Shipa, which could be a very nice pickup here on this tight corridor-like map. Shorter push range. Everyone's a little more clumped together. This could be a very effective draft there, but Firefight Victor. Nick, we don't see that a lot, but that's what Tunini said really works here.
This is the, they're almost like opposing drafts. There's 2 supports and 2 frontliners on District 69. Not a lot of damage, whereas we've got Firefight Victor, Pluck Makoa, and then more damage. I mean, Maldamba's probably one of the highest DPS supports in the game here for gerrah, so hopefully trying to keep up as best they can. Already put at 100 HP or less, 15% on the point, but this Bomb King plenty of momentum and mobility to work around this centralized capture zone.
Oh, and they're just going into the point fight. They're not scared of this at all, and Laizy misses one bomb, and that could have been the end of PERDO's life. Right now, first blood goes to SunCommander, who's been playing lights out on this Androxus, and bonkar with this hip fire victor, this firefight victor. It's going to be an exciting thing to see. We haven't seen him use it yet, though.
One more bomb could do it here. Now, rushing forward, this is where we might see the hip fire playstyle start to come to fruition. The shock pulses are keeping him slowed. Now he just goes into hip fire mode, shredding through eLvenpath's HP. Look at all that damage just pumping out into the mech. Oh my god, Swiss cheesing this robot.
Yellow and orange never looked so good, but I bet PERDO's Magnums never looked so effective there, taking out bonkar before he has a chance to react, and PERDO still alive in this fight. D69 have had the advantage 99%. Thiel's gonna have to jump in just to contest the overtime, but he knew that that was just an irrelevant move for him, and look at this. It is all D69 here on Brightmarsh, round one.
Double support, double frontliner. That's how we would expect that first fight to go.
Very true.
50 Shades of SNEK put up a good fight, but the idea here is now they can't get snowballed on. They have to hold this defense. They do not want to go down 2-0 here.
Too much grenade there. See bonkar coming in and just holding the grenade too much. The damage from Shipa was fast enough to really burn him down before he had a chance to compete after the grenade was thrown. But the damage output that he can play in this game is going to dramatically change things if he can find a rhythm, but we just haven't seen him find it yet. PERDO's definitely got the better so far.
This is looking like when they played against WASD right now, a lot of momentum on the side of the offensive team as the payload does come up on about 60-70%. Looking for that conversion here. D69 need to keep this momentum high. Bailing eLvenpath out, but he will go down. Shock Pulse is coming through, and this is the clutch moment here for 50 Shades of SNEK. They find 2 frags for nothing, start to stabilize their way through. Can't push this through with 2 supports and a barrack.
No, absolutely not, and that's the key. What they can do, though, is survive, Nick, and not fully wipe unless they want to commit a lot, and that's going to be the question. Do they allow them to kind of pull back, knowing they've got enough sustain and health to kind of always stay near the point, even if they're not immediately contesting it, or are they going to push? They're going to be aggressive, say, let's fully wipe them, and maybe fall into the trap of getting pulled out, caught out like Laizy did.
Laizy throwing out some scouting bombs here, trying to figure out what approaches District 69 are taking onto this map. Has the Curse unavailable, heads up into the air, but doesn't pop it. SunCommander with that trigger discipline doesn't want to pop it too early. It's not super great as a first cooldown used in a fight, a Cursed Arm.
Sure.
Very effective at just cleaning up a team fight once all the defensive and mobility cooldowns have been used. Laizy doing a great job of staving off this aggression from eLvenpath, but the first blood in this fight will go the way of D69.
And the first blood means a lot here. The momentum could continue with no hipfire victor. That means a lot of damage is off the table for them. PERDO still alive as well, and he means damage. Bird going down.
Burst.
Big shot there by PERDO, and he might change things. SunCommander's going to have to try, but oh boy, Shipa and PERDO will combine to take them down. No ultimates needed. 2-0 for D69.
And it's just that simple. D69 kept their momentum high, pushed that payload all the way up, almost to the finish line there, 70-80%. Win one clean team fight. That's all she wrote. They push it home and get their offensive cauterizes up to level 2 here. Despite Bird being the only healer, there is a decent amount of healing across this roster just naturally. SunCommander can heal up a decent amount with his Abyss Walker. There's a bunch of loadout cards for Makoa and for Bomb King as well. Try and self-sustain a little bit here, so outside of Ying's healing, those cauterize is going to be very effective. And frankly, just not enough shielding on the 50 Shades of SNEK roster to warrant more records.
Yeah, there's not enough, and really
you got Pluck Makoa, that's it.
Itemization is so key, and where you spend those credits can make the difference. So they're being very, very tactical about how they use them, trying to make everything count. PERDO gonna get pulled in by eLvenpath, but excuse me, not eLvenpath, by Thiel, it seems like, but he will stay alive for barely a second before falling, going back to base. And that is a very, very big deal, because Thiel now with another hook could finish off the ruckus. And this is looking great for 50 Shades.
Stretch anchored back in to that Grumpy Bomb as well. Very patiently, nicely played by 50 Shades of SNEK. Now with the comeback mechanic, you see how fast they're capturing it. 4% at a time, 42, 46, 50. They are going to need just that one team fight to put themselves in a great spot for this payload. The zone was virtually non-existent though, so this could be resulting in another fight for D69, but they're gonna have to fight into this King Bomb, but the Dome Shield ultimate's flying both way, left, right, and center. Ancient Raids, Thiel is trying to swing this fight.
I do love the way they went into the ultimate not being reserved whatsoever, and SunCommander, Laizy, bonkar, and the squad of 50 Shades of SNEK will be content to grab a point and get themselves back into this fight. However, it is important to note that if they can't push here, it will result in a point for D69 to move 3-1 ahead and have a chance to win the game next round and tie up the series. So they've got to be very, very adamant about getting this to conversion.
And that's probably why D69 aren't too bent out of shape right now about losing that payload, because putting yourself up 2-0 puts you in such an advantageous position. Does give your enemy defending team that kind of comeback mechanic, but all things told, you are still able to benefit from the defense point. So not a whole lot gained, not a whole lot lost, so long as you do hold your defense.
And what does it mean for, I think, the overall pacing of them, knowing that they've got to push this in. They don't have the type of sustainability, the same type of lineup with health when having the Victor and the Androxus, I think, as D69 does. I mean, everyone on their team with D69 is a tanky son of a gun except Lex. And 50 Shades of SNEK don't have that kind of sustain. They may fully team wipe. Might be a little harder to push for them here. Without a mistake.
Place bomb there. eLvenpath will go down. Turret's still up here for Barrack. Laizy just sitting out of combat for a certain amount of time will start your health regeneration in Paladins, so that's all he was waiting for there, just waiting in the wings. Don't need the healer if you can just get out of combat now. Boxing out the Grok, unafraid to surge forward there, but a lot of burst damage coming off the back of that Dredge Anchor into the reversal. Sends it back, will actually connect. Not going to get a whole lot of damage off the back of it though, but we'll save him off.
So conscious of the turrets. I love the way SunCommander's playing. Knows he's got kind of effective, cheap bullets to use. So he's going to use that clip, use the speed of fire to get close and finish off these turrets, which they're leaning on. Architectonics, a big aspect of bugzy's playstyle right now, makes the turrets hit scan, makes them hit, and be a much more of a dangerous threat. So even Bird, whenever those turrets come up, 50 Shades of SNEK having the discipline to finish them off. Takes down Shipa now. PERDO follows it as well. This could be the type of push they were looking for, Nick.
And now 27 seconds remain. 4 frags clean comes through, and that's all she wrote. Just as D69 did unto them, SNEK, unafraid, able to give it right back to him, tying things up 2-2. A lot of items coming online. bonkar hitting the cauterized 3 mark, as well as having enough to spend into the Haven here. Net worth chart probably going to be about equalized there, as both teams have now captured 1 payload, 300 bonus credits for doing that action. Bird saving up for something big there. Will be straight into Haven 2 for the Blossom.
D69 and 50 Shades of SNEK have been here before. If you're going to be able to dish it out as well as they do, they've also got to be able to take it. And they've been able to take it from each other quite often, considering that both teams are never out of dodge until that 4 points shows up on their side. So now 2-2 with some ultimates on the line. Brightmarsh going to be a big fight on the left-hand side, it seems like. One shot away. PERDO misses the first one, but a Ripened Gorge going to slow down 50 Shades of SNEK aggression. Shipa kind of by himself in the back line, and this could be bad. It's Laizy's got great positioning here.
Threading the needle through that window as well to keep up the aggressive. A lot of damage coming through from Victor, and SunCommander. Clutch first blood coming through in this round again. Barrage is available. Very going to punish the stacking coming out from D69. A lot of damage from the hip fire as well, but oftentimes being forced to aim down those iron sights as well. PERDO comes through with the law. Doesn't gain a whole lot for it. Trades out his life from Laizy. Grenade comes down. 36-30. Pretty even team fight thus far.
Some early ults, though. I mean, the King Bomb there, a little bit more questionable unless they feel so confident. And that's what Laizy, being on a 7th streak, does. He feels confident about his play, willing to sacrifice the ult, knows that he doesn't need that to get the kills that he's looking for. But it does leave a Tempest available and a Dome Shield. The Tempest being used right now. Shipa give a little bit of movement speed, a little bit of healing, and now he's trying to 1v1 SunCommander, but SunCommander takes down the law.
PERDO, such a clutch 1v1 to come out on top of. Shipa actually takes down Androxus before he can get around the corner. A lot of members low here. Got to be healed up by Bird. Thiel cut off from the rest of his team, but we'll be able to sustain for the time being. Dredge Anchor pulls bugzy out of position. bonkar drives it home. 99% for 50 Shades of SNEK. forced to step onto this point just to get that overtime started.
So much good stuff coming out from Laizy, and they may just take the lead yet again. The tanky composition with all the healing might just be crumbling to pieces in front of them, and unfortunately not going to be something they might be able to put back together. It is 2 minutes and 18 seconds left, 3-2, and 50 Shades of SNEK. They might win here if they push this to completion.
SunCommander playing extremely well right now, finding PERDO 2 times in that engagement. We talked a lot about how, frankly, in a 1v1 scenario, Lex can oftentimes come out on top just because he hits harder. Now D69 pushed back against the wall here. Literally, this is as far back as they can retreat to their spawn. They have nowhere else to go. They have to make a hold here or they will lose the game.
Minute 52 seconds left. Reversal comes through. SunCommander still playing like a vision, keeping himself and his team together with the offensive pressure. And now bonkar with the hip fire victor gonna fall to PERDO and gerrah. And Shipa will help to finish off SunCommander, who has been so dramatically impressive today for 50 Shades of SNEK. It is very close to a 2-0 lead for them, but it's also very close to D69 defending here for another minute and 25 and tying things up for an all-out round next time.
50 Shades of SNEK, they want this series win badly.
Yeah.
Because they were in control leading up to HRX, but ever since HRX, when all their roster swaps, they've never quite had that dominant performance once again over D69. It has been all D69. It's trying to be that way in this fight, but 50 Shades of SNEK starting to win this one. This would be a very big boon to their team morale and their confidence heading forward if they can find the win in this series.
And this is information, this is experience, this is pride. This is, you know, I think confidence heading into where we expect both of these teams to be in the summer premiere in Valencia. They're gonna want to win the big prize pool yet again, and all of these games matter in giving either team a little bit of an edge here. The payload almost at conversion, Nick. They've got a Dread Serpent, but I'm sure they don't want to use it right now. But hey, they're throwing all cards out to the window.
Precision strike detonated, finds 3 as well. Thiel already finding 2 in this engagement, forced down onto the payload. 50 Shades of SNEK, showing that they've got what it takes on this map. They've taken both their games here today very cleanly.
Oh man, and D69, although proving dominant last weekend, 3-0ing them, proving dominant today as well with 3-0s, still can't find a win against 50 Shades. Now, it is on Brightmarsh, it is on Frog Isle, a new map, and basically 50 Shades of SNEK's best map, but is this a sign of things to come?
Laizy, I mean, the roster's coming together, 50 Shades of SNEK playing so well, 93,000 damage for bonkar, 97 for Laizy. SunCommander even keeping up, you know, with Androxus. Won't typically keep up with those heavy damage dealers, but 76,000. Finding a lot of clutch picks in the back line. Throwing his hat into a lot of these eliminations. 31, by far the most in the game. Very, very important stuff. 3 solo kills as well. Finding PERDO and a couple of clutch engagements. Very good stuff from him today.
No, Androxus does really well on this map, and maybe, you know, we should listen to the map designer sometimes, because 2 of the 3 people that he mentioned that he designed the map for were on the team that won. So I don't know, you know, could be a little something. Maybe they get some extra damage when they're on that map. I don't know. I don't know what you did, Jordan, but I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying it's possible. Serpent Beach is up next, and this could determine a lot. This is a map that both teams have had success on. Hasn't really gone one way or the other. I do remember Shipa's bounce house buck on this one being pretty terrifying, though.
Yeah, this one is very, very good. High ground control, very important on this map. But both teams sort of have this one figured out. Brightmarsh is a different story because it's so new. This one is one of the oldest, one of the fan favorites, one of the pros' favorite maps. So it'll be interesting to see where they like to go in the draft here. SNEK, they need one more win to close this series out. Can they find it?
They need one more. That's it. And, you know, D69, they need 3 more, which is a tall road, you know, a tall mountain to climb, a long road to travel on. But it's not like they haven't done it before. You know, they were 2-0 down at Paladins Invitational here at HRX, and they came back and they brought that to a best-of-7 final game before finally losing. And so they know how to come back from adversity. Will this be the draft that gets them there?
These are phenomenal picks thus far for D69, not only for this map, but for this roster. Androxus, PERDO, Synonymous, Bomb King, and bugzy have really come into his own, right? We were talking about how Laizy, he's probably a better Bomb King than he is Drogoz. bugzy, it could go either way. He's very good on both characters, as well as a Torvald. So D69, throwing some little... Maybe they're pulling the same type of strategy that they took against WASD, where they just draft the dive composition with a Torvald bubble and just try to support that backline pressure as much as possible. And that's something we've seen succeed against Makoa, because Makoa just wants to sit there on cooldown, pull you in one at a time. What we've seen be a good answer to the turtle is just the all-in, where he collapses on that turtle all together as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, even in the Frog Isle, the end point fight, Laizy went with that King Bomb knowing he had eLvenpath low. eLvenpath escapes with him with the shell spin just for a little bit, but he's fine. They're fine to get Makoa out of the fight, because that's what they're really counting on, determining the pace of this game for them.
So one pick left here for D69, leaving themselves up. They can take the counter. It's going to be the Buck. So this is very interesting to me. And this will tell us a lot about how important is the high ground on Serpent Beach, because SNEK have nothing to control it with. D69, they are arguably 4 out of 5 of those characters can get up on the high ground. It's going to take a dimensional link from Ying. But wow, can they control the high ground? They have that 3D mobility on their draft. Bird with his Ripen Gourd on the Maldom is going to try to find this final win for 50 Shades of SNEK. Gunnery for Laizy's Victor. bonkar will be taking aerial assault for his Ruckus. Pluck for Thiel's Makoa. And Exaction for SunCommander's Cassie.
Now PERDO will be on Darkstalker and Droxus. Bounce House Buck for Shipa. Field Study Torvald for eLvenpath. Accelerant Bomb King for bugzy. And Focusing Lens Ying for gerrah. Going to allow them to have some extra damage from that support role.
I mean, this is it. This is the dive comp drafted from D69. 2 flankers and a Bomb King who's kind of can do that sort of thing. He has the mobility to keep up with the Buck and the Androxus. Dive to the backline, has the punch, the HP to drive it all home as well. 3 cauterizes to try and mitigate as much of that healing from Bird, and I expect to see the full aggression. Laizy already up into the air, drops down the preemptive Grumpy Bomb, and immediately laying into the shield of Torvald.
I like bonkar's positioning, and just a nice recharge there for eLvenpath to try and mitigate and recharge some of the shielding that bonkar was destroying here. First blood already on the way, though, from 50 Shades of SNEK, but 24% for D69 on the objective. The Bomb King Grumpy Bomb is going to play a big role for them in keeping the pacing away and some of the spacing away as well from Torvald.
bugzy pulled down to the low ground, but unable to find the kill, and Shipa came out on top of the 1v1 back there with Laizy. Goomba stomps bonkar as well. PERDO is here to clean up Thiel. Very clean team fight for D69. SunCommander just in a tizzy, looking all around for this Bomb King, who has already found the kill. Beautiful stuff from D69 to be able to swing that one back despite giving up first blood.
And you know, this is what happened last game. They had a great opportunity to be successful here, but when you talk about high ground, Nick, this, although he did miss a Shipa there, looked like maybe he wanted to jump up there. This is where, you know, defensively, when you're zoning out, you have so many more options to retreat, to hide, to poke. When you can get up to the high ground, when you can get down to the bottom ground and really create the space. Double kill for PERDO. He's gone on a rampage in this map, and look at that air control, just fakes him out. The emote to see around the corner, no one is pursuing, and SunCommander, he's up there or he's committing to the lower floor.
2 minutes and 20 remain. The fresh payload push here started up for District 69, and they earned it. Cute little Twitch boss, but that's the only weapon skin that I don't have in the game right there. I'm a little bit jealous.
Absolutely. I remember when that was coming out as well on TwitchCon. We were doing a promo for that, so that was very exciting. Some of those players took advantage of it, are on the Twitch Prime and linked up with Hi-Rez Studios, get cool skins and stuff like that that are exclusive, like that Twitch bomb, so make sure you sign up for it as well. In the middle of this match, though, what I'm looking at, Nick, is Shipa just having really not a lot of contests. SunCommander, he's been, like I said, a vision, a culinary delight in these games, but haven't really felt his presence here.
Now reloading up, so much mitigation. The Torvald Bub buying time for the recovery to actually restore that HP for this heavy, tanky flanker. He will go down as Laizy has now returned to the game out of spawn, but Shipa did clean up SunCommander, trying to get those bombs to the flower box, but unable to do so. Contest here. The payload is mere inches from conversion. 50 Shades of SNEK. Gotta find an answer.
Maybe one of the more important aspects about this matchup right now, and this draft particularly, is that Laizy is no longer on Bomb King, and he's had so much success today on that champion, and now is forced to play a different style, and that style may not be as impactful for him right now, and bugzy seems to be doing the job well. Torvald, although he's fallen a little bit out of the graces of a lot of teams from North America and Europe, seems to be really working with Androxus and Buck to bubble them.
Yeah, it's with this dive composition. It's really cool stuff. Really new draft. You know, D69, the first ones to kind of coin this hyper-mobility draft. 2 frags there for Thiel on the defense. Should be good for the stabilization. Just going to clean up eLvenpath here, but with all of this mobility, 50 have they have no chase. As soon as somebody wants to get out, they're good.
Yeah.
Like, no one can chase them up onto the high ground. It's the Bomb King, it's the Andro, it's the Buck, it's the guys that are going to be driving this team fight home. It's going to be so difficult to confirm kills on them with no chase.
That is true, man. I mean, look, you know, sometimes drafts are meant to do things, and not everything can be done with the selective 5 champions in this game. You're going to have to pick your poison of what you're willing to accept as a difficulty, and so far they know high ground control may be difficult. Chasing may be difficult, but they've got a lot of range damage with Cassie. They've got a lot of mid-range fighting capabilities, but right now they don't have enough to escape the damage coming out from PERDO's accursed arm. Shipa still alive and ready to fight.
Fire comes out, Ancient Rage is online, but this Torvald bubble buying so much time, and there's the chase. There's no one to chase down. Shipa's gonna escape, he's gonna pop recover, he's gonna get back into the fight. He's gonna continue to have an impact. No kills thus far for 50 Shades of SNEK. Bird just now barely finding eLvenpath.
And so though SunCommander has the mid-range fight, what does it matter when they can get out of mid-range and you can't pursue this? Triple kill for bugzy here. Gonna pop the turtle up into the air, and PERDO will find the 4th, making it a 2-0 push yet again for D69. But this is not something that we've seen mean victory for them.
Looking a little outdrafted right now without an answer, and it's not as if SNEK's comp is going to get better in the late game.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably arguably the one that's going to get worse as they have, you know, more tanks. Tanks fall off later into the game. All they've got is Laizy, who's extremely susceptible to this composition, and arguably Cassie is as well. If she misses a single roll shot, she's dead. Even if she's landing her roll shots, she's probably still dead if she gets dived on. There was so much HP, 3K from Buck, 2,600 from Bomb King, 2,000 from Androxus. You throw another 2K on whoever needs it most from eLvenpath's Bubble Shield. It's just, what can you do?
Well, Cassie's so good at dueling. She's so good at being in those fights. But the Torvald bubble, because Cassie isn't running Wrecker, she's running Cauterize too, means that sure they won't get healed, but that 2,000 shielding is really 2,000 damage she's got to put out before she gets to their base health, and that could be the difference here. eLvenpath, we haven't talked about him a lot this game, but he has put some bubbles that have changed the tide of this fight onto his teammates.
He saved Shipa 5+ times already.
And that is really single-handedly maybe one of the biggest reasons why they're winning here.
Just continues to escape here, gets over the wall, heals up, gets bubbled. Able to find gerrah at first in that engagement. Nice grenade comes out, will miss, but Laizy will still be able to find the kill. This is what they need. They need to slowly pick them off one by one. Laizy, it's going to be on Thiel to land these hooks. It's going to be super critical to SNEK's team fight that he continues to do so.
But the issue is they can't get onto the point. There's just not enough damage coming from them to force any of them off the point. And though they've got this comp to get away and to dive, no diving took place, which makes me wonder what went wrong in that team fight for D69.
They just didn't have it come through all at once, right? There was a little bit of a miscommunication. Plus, up on the high ground, gerrah did get picked off. He did get dredge anchored out, and there was enough burst damage in there. The disruption hadn't come through just yet. It was a very early dredge anchor that allowed 50 Shades of SNEK to get the early man advantage, and once they got that little bit of a lead, they never let it go.
Laizy just with the eagle eye aim. This man has sight for days and mechanical skill to back it up. And it looks like his tracking is going to have to serve him a lot better right now, because he's going to 1v1 fight, make that a 3v1 fight against everyone from D69, and that's the benefit of having a type of composition that can run away from a dangerous situation.
Going to be driven home there by eLvenpath, so fully stabilized here on the defense, just about. Shipa getting into the back line, immediately jumping out. A lot of burst damage can actually come through from this Maldamba. Can't really afford to box him out in the gourd unless you have that late game cauterized. PERDO finds bonkar as well. Ultimate's starting to be charged up, and there's the peel. It's just too much HP. Shipa's not the greatest target for this dredge anchor. He's likely going to have one of his leaps up, as well as a Torvald bubble, as well as a recovery. It's just too much to punch through. PERDO is in a rough spot. He will be a better target for them.
And that's why Makoa, again, you look at the hook. Why has the meta meant so much here for some of these tankier lineups is when Makoa hooks a buck, it's not a guaranteed kill. If he hooks somebody who's got a 2,000 health pool or an 1,800 health pool, it probably is, especially at this level. So the fact that that hook cooldown is going to be increased a little bit could change kind of the landscape of the champions we're comfortable, or these pros are comfortable seeing here on the biggest stage.
Gets in, finds the kill onto Laizy. SunCommander does find PERDO, boxing out with Shipa though. One more shot's gonna do it. There's 2 picks, and this could be good if bugzy is gonna go down here, but he does take Bird with him. I was gonna say, if they can get out of this cleanly without dropping a kill, Going to be very good for their payload push, but they do find eLvenpath. That's the downfall of Torvald. When he has to be so far so far forward just to support these flankers.
Yeah.
If they fall apart, he's basically dead in the water.
Now see, here's the thing. With Torvald still coming back in, available to help contend with this, SunCommander's going to have to pull a lot of weight and get people low, as well as Laizy. You know, if they start trying to contend on this point, and Torvald's still alive, a Hyper Beam could send them all into the drink faster
Positioning
than they
for it, you're right. You're absolutely right. There it is. There it comes. And there it went. SunCommander into the drink. Will already be claiming 1 life, but more ultimates coming out on the battlefield. Dread Serpent has come through. bonkar claimed the life, flipped the shotgun. Big damage about to come through on a Laizy. He's just trying to bring somebody with him. He knew he was already dead at that point.
And why do you do it? Because you get a 3-1 advantage if you're able to stall out this defense. Thiel's doing everything he can, but the poor man Turtle may just have to go back to base because his teammates aren't there with him. Cassie, the mid-range hunter's daughter, is going to go back and think about her strategies here because they just haven't panned out. D69 stall that push and basically game point here.
And it's pretty crazy that they were actually able to pull that Hyper Beam off because SunCommander and probably Laizy as well did actually see that huge clumping of people move across that high ground hallway into that room, and there are only so many spots where Torvald is like, I wonder why Torvald's going back there, back way past the payload. It's like it's pretty telegraphed in terms of what he's trying to do, maybe a little bit of lack of communication. I don't really know how vocal a guy as SunCommander is because he's never been to a LAN or anything. I haven't had the chance to meet him, but that type of communication may have been enough to save the push.
And you know, eLvenpath now, knowing that his mobility is important, just maybe for those Hyper Beams, getting into position fast enough or just getting out of dodge. He's taken Nimble 3, so 30% base standard movement speed that he's going to gain here, moving faster and repositioning to get those bubbles onto his teammates, the protection shields, or just to get out of trouble if he's in it. bugzy now with a King Bomb, can't fall here, but he will. Thiel gets a final hook, final cannonball onto him.
bonkar goes down as well, and actually missing that leaf. Shipa's a little bit caught out, but Laizy now needs to be very careful with his positioning. Thiel's going to land that dredge anchor. A lot of damage coming through over the top here. Barrage damage being pumped into Shipa, but already so close at closing out this game and claiming it for themselves. D69 looking for their first win if this fight continues to go their way.
And that seems to be what will take place. The Bomb King Grumpy Bomb becomes so much more impactful when you have to stand on the point, eat the stun, eat the 800 damage, and of course that will, all that eating, it's going to feed D69's mouths here and their score. Yeah, the creme brulee. It's looking ever so caramelized. And again, this time it's not SunCommander who's doing that. It's D69 and their squad here on Serpent Beach. Bounce House Buck.
This is I like this draft a lot. This is a significant change in strategy. This is full mobility, full dive drafted from D69, and we talked about it's gonna answer a lot of questions about how important high ground control is. 4-1. D69 take the series momentum back in their favor with a beautiful draft. 24-3 for the Bucks, 70,000 damage as well. Incredibly stuff from D69, and frankly a pretty lackluster draft. You know, Bird was the one that told me, you know, high ground control is so important on this map. It's really crazy to see this type of draft come through from 50 Shades of SNEK, especially with only 1 game left to try and find the win.
The only hope you can really think about it is the fact that they maybe didn't anticipate the buck, but I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And I feel that maybe the only way I can really explain it is that an objective that they had internally, they were talking about, was more important than high ground control. They said, we need more DPS in our team. I don't care if we have high ground control. We can't burst through this team if we don't have these guys, if we don't have a Victor, something like that. So we'll end up having to see if high ground control continues to be important. Won't really know here in Jaguar Falls because there's not really any high ground.
Yeah. I have to see there. This is where you want that double frontline competition. This is where both teams have been able to find pretty convincing wins. It'll be interesting to see how they play it. D69 played a very wild draft again against WASD in their previous set on this map, drafting some pretty wonky stuff. 3 frontliners, but still being able to spread out and play very separate at the same time. It just comes back to good communication. They all know what they're all trying to do. They all know what the end goal is.
Absolutely. So SNEK will take Makoa. D69 now. They could go for something like a Bomb King Ruckus. That seems to have worked for them. The Ruckus I like as a secondary pick the more I think about it because of, you know, it does well in Jaguar Falls. The repulsor field does a lot for them, but it also takes away from bonkar, who's been playing a really good Ruckus lately and just seems to give them too much damage, too much swing potential from a tank.
Yeah, so they're going to just lock in 2 frontliners right out of the gate. Fernando, Ruckus, SNEK with the chance. They could respond with something like a Drogoz and Droxus. Just Drogoz is a good answer to both tanks here, and Droxus is the proper counter to the Drogoz. So getting those both uncomfortable characters, players on their roster would be a boon. Their spirit.
You know, this is interesting because you have the Drogoz and the Bomb King. Laizy, he's played both, but he kind of prefers the Bomb King.
Yeah.
Bugzy played both, kind of prefers the Drogoz. I wonder if this is going to be a bit of a stalemate and say, all right, you get your best champion, just let me have mine.
Yeah, there it is. The Bomb King locked in for 50 Shades of SNEK. D69 could now take Drogoz and Droxus because likewise, they both have guys that can play it extremely well, as well as the fact that Drogoz is super good against 2 tanks, punishing clumping with combustible. Mount Damba, though, taking for gerrah, Red Serpent. Pretty strong here.
Wow.
Interesting because a lot of times we see District 69 let you get Mount Damba, let you get Bomb King, let you get all the crowd control. They just pick up Brazilians and they move on.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what's also interesting here? Because they didn't take Drogoz, maybe they're just saying there's no way they're taking Bomb King and Drogoz. So we can easily last pick that.
I think you're right.
And
I think they're leaving that open.
So we'll take Lex away from like a SunCommander, and Lex does well on Jaguar Falls. Not only can you see your own target, but you kind of see where someone else probably is. But this probably, I mean, this surprised me. I'm not sure if it surprises you, but an Eevee coming out here as a last pick, Drogoz off the table.
It does, because Eevee's good against stuff like Victor, stuff like Lex, things that aren't super mobile, can't get above her, and don't have a lot of HP. Not really kind of the theme here for SNEK. You got 2 frontliners, you got a Bomb King who can not only, you know, Poppy Bomb himself up and away, can 2-shot the Eevee, unless she picks up Blast Shield, but Bugzy gonna be running that bird.
Feeling confident.
Be taking focusing lens for the Ying. I'm excited to see this character I love to watch personally. Architectonics for Bonkers, Barrack, Accelerant for Laizy's Bomb King will be plucked for Thiel's Makoa, and Darkstalk for Droxus.
Bugzy hasn't picked up his legendary yet. Most likely Wormhole or Reprieve. Flux Generator for Shipa's Ruckus. Ripened Gourd for Gerrah's Maul Damba. PERDO with Death Hastens for Lex. eLvenpath, Aegis on his Fernando, and that will be Reprieve. He will basically full heal in that ice block when he goes into it, and also be immune from damage and cleanse any negative effects currently on him.
AKA Cauterize is the big one there, so he can receive all that healing. As well as one of the loadout cards he likes to run is damage reduction for X amount of seconds after ice block ends, so he can escape with his life. It's always very important. You know, you full heal, but Eevee is so squishy that she can still die with a nice time dredge anchor getting in on a Laizy. This is it. One more shot's gonna do it. First blood goes to Bugzy.
And that's the benefit there of the Reprieve. He goes just as low. He's in just as bad trouble as Laizy is with that Bomb King in that fight, but he's able to heal back up to full, and that's something Bomb King cannot do. And look at this. They're gonna try to fight him, but it's wasting too much time with a guy like PERDO also trying to shoot at you with Lex.
66% already on the point for District 69. No answer from 50 Shades of SNEK just yet. Now throwing down the Ying Cone, trying to box out. Focusing lens will be good, but Bugzy again gets into the back line and finds Laizy.
This is what's so great about it. Bugzy showing up when you last want him to. It's like a parking ticket when you're having a bad day. Bugzy just shows up when it's the worst possible time and finishes off the deed. And Bugzy again with 2 kills here. He's probably killed every single member, it feels like, on 50 Shades of SNEK once by himself.
And that's Laizy's just got to go toe-to-toe with him, I think, at this point, and just try to 2-shot him as best he can. But that's where Reprieve comes in. That's where it's so valuable. That's where it really covers up one of Eevee's biggest weaknesses, is her small HP pool and her lack of sustain.
It doubles it, right? It doubles the H pool. It gives her sustain. Reprieve.
She really like a buck.
She really.
Eevee pretty thick, actually.
Eevee actually kind of thick. Now that I see her like that, she's looking pretty good. And you know what? Bugsy's making her look even better. Bugzy, one of the players who started Reprieve here in the competitive scene, playing it and having success with it, continues it here in a very important do-or-die game against his top rival.
1 minute 40 remain here. An aggressive zones. 3 members at D69 knocking at the doors of the 50 Shades of SNEK spawn, just holding them back. Hexafire starting to get in position here for anyone who's looking to contest. Shipa will meet them with all 6 of his guns. There it is, shredding through the barricade, but it buys enough time for Laizy to take him down.
Tried to turn away, knowing the reversal was coming through for Androxus. Laizy picks up 2 now. SunCommander will pick up another, and Bugzy, although he might escape with his life, he will. Is going to be content to stall this push for now with 90 9% of the way already.
99.999. 1 minute remains here. As nobody from D69 is testing the payload, it will slowly start to roll backward. As you can see, the progress bar slowly regressing over the course while D69 work their way back here. But a lot of shields, a lot of tankiness coming in from either side. Going to open up these flanks for bugzy and PERDO to move into position. Try and find a frag. Try and find a hole in this defense. Bugzy's forced out for the time being, though, and Laizy has already found the first frag on to PERDO. eLvenpath goes down as well. It's going to be another retreat for D69.
Now they've got to capitalize on this. The play style is shifted. Once bugzy started taking advantage of Laizy and making sure that he was there when he wasn't expecting it, Thiel has now switched his attention to starting to look for when bugzy arrives. You see SunCommander also looking for bugzy, because if Thiel can hook bugzy, that's probably going to be the end of days for him, or at least immediately force his ice block and get him out of the fight.
8 seconds remain here. Overtime's going to be started. Everyone's back from District 69 to contest this one out. You're right. They're all paying more attention to bugzy now. They realize he was fragging out a little bit too much in the backline. Overtime started. Ancient Rage has been Papa. Thiel gets shredded down immediately. Didn't get the Ancient Rage off in time.
Wow, very good reversal there. Is he going to stay alive? PERDO has to win this one. SunCommander fighting his way back, working as hard as he can. Will the creme brulee be victorious today? The Immortal coming out from Fernando seems to have stalled that for now, but Laizy still alive on a 5 streak. Bugzy finishes off the king, and the Queen of Ice seems to have almost made it possible for a team to push, but 50 Shades of SNEK hold on.
Bonkar finds bugzy and PERDO there on the 8 streak. The only one to survive that team fight, it felt like. A lot of ultimates still online for 50 Shades of SNEK is the coolest thing about that team fight. They didn't really spend much to get it done. It was just the dome shield, and Bonkar was fragging so hard in that team fight that he recharged it all the way to 40% already without a morale burst. So great stuff. Whether he was shutting down streaks, I'm sure killing bugzy had a big part to do with that. A great trade-off here. Not a lot spent for 50 Shades of SNEK.
Bugzy with 100% Ice Storm, which admittedly we've seen Bugzy do a lot of work without the ultimate. This could change things up, especially taking down a SunCommander or a Laizy at a crucial moment, just locking them in, solo ulting them, and anything else that happens is just gravy on top.
Looking for that first blood here. Bugzy gonna blink in and use Soar, so both mobility cooldowns used. Now reprieve as well. Blink is just up to escape. Not a whole lot gained there, but Eevee's cooldowns are short. She will be ready to go again soon. Tuning in with PERDO here, looking to pinch Laizy. They need to get him out. Laizy left all alone in the back line.
And there was nothing there for 50 Shades of SNEK to take. They couldn't really aggress onto the point in fear of leaving themselves exposed. PERDO gonna right-click to victory and make sure that he finishes off Bonkar. And Shipa and PERDO will fall thanks to Thiel and SunCommanders. Just great, continuous roaming together.
Yeah, now looking for SunCommander. Androx is a pretty tough target for Eevee to lock down, as he's almost got as much mobility as she does, especially with that Dark Stalker. Legendary still sitting on the Ice Storm. A lot of ultimates come out from 50 Shades of SNEK. 60% on the point, so they're coming away with it. SunCommander takes down bugzy, and that is huge for this fight, as now Laizy's time to shine. He rolls in, gets the double stun. Dread Serpent's here to heal, but a lot of frags are about to be coming through for 50 Shades of SNEK. Already found 1, 2, and 3.
Unbelievable. Stood in the ripened gourd, was taking the damage over time each second. Finally steps out enough, wins the duel with gerrah after the incredible Dread Serpent to stall his aggressiveness after his King Bomb. Really great plays, both teams. But 50 Shades of SNEK come out on top.
And that's a great, example literally of what Eevee's value is. Even if she's not always fragging, she's not leading damage or kills or any of that. Just the distractions she brings, distracting very lethal champions like Bomb King away from team fights, giving her team. I mean, you saw how quickly D69 fell apart when Laizy was allowed to have his way in a team fight.
You're right, and SunCommander stepped it up too. He's slain PERDO, he slayed bugzy. He has really continued this level of dominance that we've been talking about, praising him for today. A 9 streak for him, a Cursed Arm, ready to go, the ultimate live, locked and loaded. Bugzy seems to not have had the type of success that he's started out this game with for the last round.
Minute 35 remain here. SunCommander looking, he has a good angle here on gerrah if they want to push it. separating them a little bit here. Thiel will die all alone. bonkar goes down as well. No tanks left for 50 Shades of SNEK. They're going to have to back up.
For me, if I'm bugzy, I maybe try to put a little pressure on SunCommander here. Although he's beaten me a little bit, his flick shots are working. If I get him out of the fight, kind of change tactics and, you know, maybe allow Bomb King Laizy to have less pressure, could throw 50 Shades of SNEK off yet again.
Laizy, what are you doing? What are you doing back here, boy?
What are you doing, boy?
That ain't your base.
That ain't your base. Laizy knows it. He's just trying to zone out, Nick. This is Bomb King style.
Look at this. Are you kidding me?
Blinks into the Grumpy Bomb to Nick's chagrin and proves
awkward.
that Laizy was actually doing the right thing there.
Whatever. That's a mistake from bugzy. They're blinking into a Grumpy Bomb.
That was tactical by Laizy.
Tactical feeding.
I'm going to go to their front of their base. Bugsy's going to blink into my Grumpy Bomb. I'll get 2 kills.
What are you doing? 30 seconds remain here. Cursed Arm ready to go. A lot of ultimates for D69. One more shot from PERDO, but there's a nice long-range kill onto bugzy. That's going to be very important here. Trying to keep that harassment off of the SNEK backline here. Another frag falls the way of 50 Shades of SNEK, and this payload, all the momentum in the world. eLvenpath, nowhere to go.
And this is 50 Shades of SNEK at their best. That is the hook. That's Makoa. That's the spray, because that is what wins and why you sometimes, and what you've seen in this meta, Eevee not selected. One hook ends her life. Despite being such a great champion, Makoa can shut her down.
Especially with Pluck coming back in, as Half Shell has kind of taken its exit in terms of being favored by the players here. A lot of different items, a lot of different colors being sported here. The item selection screen. bonkar hitting the Wrecker 3 mark has gone into a little Mass Riding, little Haven, a little Rejuvenate, a little something for every situation here. SunCommander with a Cauterize 3, as well as Bird having that online. PERDO and eLvenpath do have one of their own, so healing going to be tough to get off, but 3-1. 50 Shades of SNEK in a good position to take this series. Is worth noting, though, D69 will have the comeback mechanic enabled, as they are now down 2 points.
Will they be able to seize the day? It is game point for 50 Shades of SNEK. In fact, it's match point. They lead 2-1 in sets, and they're trying to start things off right here in week 2 with a victory, tying things up with D69. There are a couple of ultimates together. Look at this Ice Storm. I like the reprieve. It's got a lot of people hooked together. bugzy's going to get out of dodge and try to find himself some SunCommander. SunCommander in the air, but look at this. Ooh. Will SunCommander finish it off? He will. He'll take down 2 in the fight. PERDO and bugzy fall to the Godslayers.
SunCommander has been so huge throughout this series, and now he's looking for his 3rd frag in the engagement. Takes Shipa down as well. SunCommander playing out of his mind today. Wins the 1v1, you know, arguably disadvantaged against Lex, and then takes down bugzy on top of all of that. He's been so clutch on a 9 streak right now, but SNEK, can they do it again? They're gonna have to.
SunCommander has been victorious today. An absolute vision, a creme brulee of play, performance, and a display of tactical and mechanical perfection. I don't know if I could describe it any better than that. 50 Shades of SNEK steal the day very much because it's in the pocket of SunCommander. He took it. I don't know. It's not mine. I thought I had any control.
I gave it to you.
Yeah, you gave it to me. You gave me the W. He stole it. So I don't know, man. It's been a great day for him, though, and a great congratulations to 50 Shades of SNEK.
Absolutely. They bring it back. They are showing that they are still in contention here for this top spot in Europe. They are not ready to take that 2nd seed back. They're going to fight tooth and nail for it. 72,000 damage, in fact. 27-4. Another insane game from SunCommander here. And that's what you need. You need to step up. Laizy's under a lot of pressure. Only 16 eliminations, 7 deaths, less damage as well, because he's being focused down so heavily in the back line. You see that in bugzy's slash line as well. 12-8. Not a great slash line, not a lot of damage, but he was bringing so much value in just distracting Laizy. That's SunCommander. Somebody else has to step up on this roster. You know, you're a big sports fan. I watch sports as well. It's kind of like that when your superstar of your team has maybe, getting double teamed, not having the best day, and he has to pass a lot. You hope for the sub or the guy who's maybe, a 2nd-tier player to have that great game, to just be on fire. Yeah. You know, every time he's getting the ball, he's wide open. And MJ needs Scotty, LeBron needs Kyrie, Kobe needs Shaq. There's got to be someone else.
Laizy needed SunCommander today, and he got him. And that's one of the awesome performance aspects of SunCommander's, I think, play today, is that he showed up big when his team needed it, and without his performing that way, I think D69 win this.
Absolutely. You can see it there. The first split of the day. There was one in the first rounds between 50 and Team Angry there. 3-1 is the slash line. So 50 Shades of SNEK will tie it up in the standings as they now have earned themselves 100 points today. 60 for their second place finish, trading out here with District 69. These guys are tied. WSD in third place with 80, Burrito at 50, and then the rest of them goofballs down there with 20, 20, 20, and 15.
Now, don't get mad, because last time Nick is trying to test the lower end teams in this standings, because he called somebody, what was it, goobers?
A goober.
Called them goobers, and they had a big reaction. So take it lightly because he's trying to test your resolve, guys. If you're going to be able to, play in this scene, you got to be able to fight through adversity. And the initial adversity is Nick calling you a goofball.
That's your first test, son. We'll see if you survive and come back for week number 3.
That's right. That's right. Make sure you do come back. It is open beta. It is open. It was open qualifiers, but it's open beta as well. And the Paladins console side of things, Xbox, you want a controller in your hand, tired of keyboard and mouse? Time to check out Paladins Champions of the Realm on Xbox One and PS4. In fact, I was on a plane yesterday flying back from Los Angeles, walking through the aisle, got to use the restroom, and a gentleman walks by, about 45 years old, wearing a cap, sees me wearing a Paladins shirt, and says, "Hey, I love that game." And I'm like,
"Really?
You love that game?"
Wow.
He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I've been playing that game since launch." And I'm like, "Awesome, well, I work for that game." And he's like, "Nice, man," like introduced himself and everything. Just on the way to the plane bathroom. I said, what a random place to recognize it. But this is a game that has fans everywhere. We're excited you're part of watching our esports scene. Nick, man, it feels good to be back on the mic.
Absolutely. Glad to have you back, guys. That's going to do it for Europe. We've got North America tomorrow. Same time, same place. We can't see it. I mean, you're back, dude. You got to sign it off.
I do.
I
really
tried.
do.
Production destroyed my life when I tried
really
doing
do,
it,
guys.
man.
You guys ready? You guys ready for this? In fact, before we even get into it, I just got to say I'm really excited about my dinner. I have a pineapple sake teriyaki marinade on a chuck roast beef with...
What about creme brulee?
Not creme brulee. Maybe tomorrow.
Gotta have a creme brulee.
As always, guys, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and we'll see you all in the realm.